We are so excited to welcome Michael Mahonen, who played Gus Pike in Road to Avonlea, to our studio today and to talk to him a little bit about his days working on Road to Avonlea. Great to see you, Mickey.
Likewise, thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here. And we've had all kinds of wild and crazy questions asked of us in the last week since people knew you were going to be coming on, wanting to know this question and that question about Avonlea. But why don't we just start at the beginning, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what it was like to be cast as Gus Pike, because we were casting for it and we had another actor cast and he was unable to do the role.
And I know who that is and I know why, and he got a good gig out of it, but I think I got the better one.
I agree with you, because it was James Woolvett,
Yeah.
and he ended up getting cast in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we had this huge part that we had developed for Road to Avonlea, and we were re-auditioning for it. And we had Ann Tate casting, and she brought you into a casting session. And we were having a party at our offices, and I had never met you before, but you came downstairs and started filming this audition. And then I think we went and screened the audition right away, didn't we?
Well, I remember I had left the audition room. It was down in the basement, and the person running the camera had said when they were looking in the eyepiece they lost sight because they had started crying. So I thought, that's a good sign. Or maybe not. Maybe it's so bad they started crying, but I thought it was pretty good. So then I went upstairs, and Ann Tate had actually, before the audition, she had taken some of her makeup. She was looking at me and she said, "Roll your pants up." And so I rolled my pants up, and she took some of her makeup. She made my face dirty and messed my hair up. So I had to wash off after the audition. So I came upstairs and I was in the bathroom for a few minutes, and I came out and then I saw you sprinting up the stairs and you went in your office, and I thought, I hope he's calling to confirm something. So.
Yeah, and we did. I think what happened was the other casting directors from CBC were there. We all looked at the audition right away and we said, we're thrilled that Mr. Woolvett passed, because you were perfect. Even though they said, oh, you have to be 14 and everything else, we designed the role in a certain way. Yeah. But we really ended up writing the role for you to a certain extent because of the way you approached the part and because of the performance that you started to give. We got really excited about it and really began developing the material for you.
Yeah, I mean, he was a young man, certainly, and you know, that was necessary for the future possible burgeoning relationship between he and Felicity that was being touched upon in those first two episodes as well. But he was very mature. He had traveled the world on ships and trains, and so his age kind of became not such a focus in terms of specifics. How old is that guy? It's like he's young, but he's wise for his years, and I think people just watched the story as it unfolded.
Yeah. Well, he was a terrific character. And,
great character.
And really thanks to you. I really mean that sincerely, because what ends up happening when you're writing a long series is that you do end up writing for the performers. So we ended up doing what we did on our side, or developing ideas, you know, Gus meets his father, whatever. We had no idea what Gus's history was. It just evolved.
Yeah.
And people would say to me at the beginning of a season, what's going to happen? And I'd say I have absolutely no idea. It depends on what happens with the scripts and what happens with the performers. And that's really the way it works. What did you find, though, when you started receiving material? How did you react to it, and how did you start to view the role?
When I did the initial two episodes, and it was initially supposed to be just the two episodes, and then people liked what was going on, and then so that was extended into a continuing character. I was invited to the Christmas party, nicely, after those episodes, and I met Marlene Matthews and Heather Conkey, two really good writers that worked on the show. And they both came to me and said, "Oh, we saw what you did. We liked it so much, so much." And so, you know, once in a while, if I'd get a script, I'd get in contact with them if I had an idea, or if something didn't work, something they wrote. And they wrote a number of the episodes that were focused on the Gus character.
Yeah.
And So I'd get the script and I'd look it over, and once in a while I'd contact them and I'd say, I don't know about if this is the way he would say this or whatever. And sometimes they'd make adjustments and sometimes not. Another thing was the accent. You know, there was no indication of this accent. And I was confused because when I initially read the descriptions, I thought he was, I thought he was from Ireland, but he was from the East Coast. And then that came up later, but I had started to work with this accent that was a very mild Northern Irish accent, because I had done that I had done a couple of accents in one particular play, and that was one of them. And it had a really appropriate feel for what I had been understanding about the character in terms of, you know, sometimes he has this really dry humor and it works great with that accent. And so I kind of dampened that down a bit, also realizing, you know, he's traveled the world, so he's probably picked up all kinds of sounds now. But what was funny was later, there were some people on the East Coast who said things like, I live right near where he's from, and your accent is exactly how we speak. And I'm like, well, that's great, you know.